Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask the Doc. I am your host, Jennifer Filzen, and today I have with me Dr. Mehta of Dentistry on the Ponds. Welcome, Doctor.
Hi, how are you?
I am fantastic. Tell us about the beautiful work that you're doing, and I can tell because you have the most amazing smile. So please tell us about your practice and the good work that you guys do.
So I own Dentistry on the Ponds. I bought this practice from Dr. Keith Abrahamson. He was practicing here for 20-something years. I bought it officially September 1st of 2021. And we've retained all the staff. We've actually grown as a staff, and we're trying to dive more into more advanced procedures like implants, orthodontics, and even some more high-end cosmetic cases.
Fantastic. Oh, I love it. I love hearing when doctors take over other practices, right? Because you have a business already been built, but then you get to put your spin and your polish onto it, right? So just out of curiosity, what got you into dentistry, and how did you find this amazing practice to purchase in 2021?
So I graduated in 2021, and I went and associated at another practice in Minnesota in Farmington. My wife is originally from Minnesota, so I moved out here after graduating dental school in Pittsburgh. I was kind of looking for a practice the entire time I was an associate. I kind of always had ownership on my mindset. And I'd kind of taken CE and advanced continuing education on different advanced procedures to help set me up for that. I probably toured over 50-something practices in the area in my search for the right practice. And when this one came up, it just all clicked. It was Dr. Abramson and I got along really well. Our clinical philosophy lined up really well. He approved of the direction I wanted to go build the practice in. I pride myself on being pretty tech forward, and dentistry has a lot of tech innovations that are coming out. So it was nice to be able to take what he had already built and add my spin on it and kind of bring it up to snuff with intraoral scanning, CBCT. We're going to start getting into 3D printed restorations, things like that.
Fantastic. Oh, wow. I just love that. I love that. Man, your approach is amazing. Did you have a business coach or maybe a professor that inspired you to do this? Because your route is not the typical route for someone just getting their license. I mean, this is amazing.
No, I didn't really have a professor. I always knew I wanted to be a practice owner. I got into dentistry because, I wanted to be a dentist since like 7th grade, but I got into dentistry because it allows me to be in healthcare, but still run a business and kind of be my own boss. Not many other avenues within healthcare kind of still allow for that as freely as dentistry does. I had always kind of geared my career towards owning a practice. When I met my wife in dental school, Minnesota wasn't really on my radar until she came into my life. And originally I'm from Tennessee, so the plan was always to go back down south. But then it just worked out to where moving here made sense after graduation. And when I found this practice, we moved on it pretty quickly.
I'm so proud of you. I love it. I love it. And tell me about the tech forward. You know what? You're absolutely right. There is a lot of tech coming. Does that comfort the patients because you're able to serve them well, or does that make them a little nervous? I mean, I've always been fascinated, right? Because
patients look for it. I think patients like it. I'm the youngest dentist in my city. So there's always going to be a segment of the population that holds a doctor's age against them, at least in an industry that's dominated by what people perceive as the stereotype for a dentist is typically an older gentleman. So leaning into my youth and kind of using it to my advantage and marketing towards, hey, I may be younger, but I've got a lot of skill and a lot of artistic talent when it comes to cosmetic cases, and we have the tech to support us that other docs might be reluctant to implement.
Oh, I love that. And you're right. Yeah, leaning into your youth, and people would expect that you would be tech forward. That's awesome. And also, too, I love that you used the word artistry. That is not something you hear very often in the world of dental. So tell us a little bit about that for those that need to be educated, myself included, because believe me, with all the work I've had done in my entire life, I'm positive that I have purchased the equivalent of two Mercedes for all of the doctors that have worked on me. But tell me about that, because you're right, it is a blend of art and science. Talk about the artistry, please.
So my passion within dentistry is really cosmetic cases. I've been able to do a really high number while just being early in my career, and I really like those cases because I get to be creative and kind of think outside of the box and visualize the final product, and then kind of take the steps to deliver that. It isn't a traditional approach that's like a single unit crown or like a single unit veneer or your one-off filling. You're thinking big picture, like how does this smile fit together on this face? So I work with pretty advanced labs, and we typically start with a picture of the patient, and we send it off to the lab, and I work with the lab ceramist to figure out ideally how to set the stage up to achieve the results that we have in mind. My initial consult with the patient for a highly cosmetic case is usually just sitting down with them, figuring out what their goals are, and they tell me their goals. I tell them what's biologically possible.
Amazing. Oh, I love hearing that. You tell them what's biologically possible, right? Because somebody might see somebody else with this beautiful smile, like, I want to look just like that. And you have to consult them saying, well, based on your situation, you may not be able to have that. Wow, that's
and we also
really
got to
cool.
fit it within a budget. Some people have budgets, so you got to fit it within a budget and come as close to their expectation within the confines of that budget too.
Mhm. Yeah. So now you probably tend to work more with adults than you do youth, correct?
Correct. I do a lot of adults. We do see kids though. There are a lot of wonderful pediatric dentists around here. So it kind of goes off the behavior of the child. If they're conducive to a general practice, we'll happily see them. If they have a lot more anxiety and are better suited for a pediatric environment, then we refer.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, listen, we've run out of time, but thank you so much, Dr. Mehta. This has truly been a pleasure. And everybody, if you want to find out more about his practice in Minnesota, Dentistry on the Ponds, I encourage you to go to Buzz TV at iwannabuzz.com. Thank you so very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.